Hello, everybody. My name is Alex T. And with me, I have Stephen Alexander, Ashley Dean, Greg Marshall, and Jeffrey Walker. We are here today to present to you a proposition to acquire a majority stake in NVIDIA Corporation. Today's agenda includes a brief summary of Microsoft's current position. This will include information about our current cash holdings and recent major transactions and acquisitions. We will go over information regarding the NVIDIA Corporation's current position and recent performance as well. Then we will go over the acquisition process to include the percentage of shares required and our plan for acquisition. Our plan for acquisition consists of an initial equity acquisition and then at a later date a step acquisition that will result in our having to consolidate the financial statements to our two corporations. We will also discuss the reasons why we believe the proposition will certainly succeed. Then we will move on to expected synergies between ourselves and NVIDIA Corporation. Next will be feasible analysis on the operational and technical aspect of merging two companies. Finally, we will discuss accounting issues regarding the purchase and conclusion to the proposition. Here's an update regarding where Microsoft currently stands. Our share price on NASDAQ indicates that $60.5 per share. We currently hold $96 billion overseas and $5.7 billion here in the United States. As you are aware, we recently purchased LinkedIn in an all-cash transaction for approximately $26 billion, and we paid a 50% premium per share on that acquisition. So to move forward, we're looking to stay relevant and then gain entry into new markets through new acquisitions. Considering that our base market is constantly changing and innovating, so to maintain relevancy within the industry, it requires that we make inroads to sectors that present ample opportunities. The hardware sector, while a robust sector, abounds with opportunity that we will grasp with our planned acquisition of NVIDIA. The next thing we will be discussing is background information about NVIDIA Corporation, which is the premier GPU manufacturer in the United States.
Hello, and I'm here to talk to you about our target corporation, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a visual computing company that targets gaming, professional visualization, data center, and automotive markets where visual computing is essential and valued. The company is focused on delivering value through PC, mobile, and cloud architectures. The company's segments include GPU, which stands for Graphical Processing Unit, the Tegra processor, gaming, professional visualization, data center, and automotive. The GPU segment is the largest contributor to NVIDIA's revenue by far. As far as Microsoft is concerned, NVIDIA and Microsoft first came together back in the early 2000s to develop a GPU for the original Xbox. So both companies have a history. And as far as gaming is concerned, NVIDIA's Tegra processor is going to be used in the upcoming Nintendo console. So NVIDIA has a lot of history in the gaming market. As of the time of this presentation, NVIDIA's stock price is $71.54 per share. They were founded in 1993 and have over 9,200 employees. Of their two highest grossing segments, GPU consists of the GeForce graphical card and PC gaming, and the Tegra processor used mostly for their Drive and Shield products. As far as their financial statements are concerned, this is not year-end data, but it is data covering the last 12 months as of July 31st, 2016. They have revenue over $5 billion, with growth over the prior year at 13.8%. Gross profit just over $3 billion, with a margin percentage of 57.2%. Net income $903 million, with a margin percentage of 16.6%. A market cap of $38 billion, and a total enterprise value just over $34 billion. This growth and large margins mean that NVIDIA has been very profitable over the last 12 months. At their market cap, they're not a small company, but it is well established and feasible. And their enterprise value has a total company value of $34 billion. I will now leave you with one of my associates to talk about the public investors.
What we are showing you here is the current public investor breakdown in the NVIDIA Corporation. The investments are held by banks and investment banks, corporate pension funds, educational and cultural centers, family offices and trusts, government pension funds, hedge fund managers, individuals and insiders, and various other small groups. However, as you can see, traditional investment managers hold a vast majority of the investments in the NVIDIA Corporation. Of those that hold investments within the NVIDIA Corporation, Fidelity Investments is the current majority shareholder, followed by the Vanguard Group, BlackRock Incorporated, PrimeCap, and a few others. Fidelity Investments holds approximately 15% of the company, and then Vanguard is in second place with roughly 9% of the investments in NVIDIA. So that brings us to our goal, the acquisition. So our goal is to acquire 20% of the NVIDIA shares. This would total approximately 107 million shares in NVIDIA. The reason why we want to do 20% is because that would allow us to become the majority shareholder by a fairly significant margin, and that would allow us to help influence how NVIDIA does their operations and best suit our needs. This would also allow us to make sure that if any of the other companies were to try to do something, we would probably be able to help overrule that if it was not in our best interest. So how are we planning on getting this 20%? So our proposition is to acquire 10% using a cash purchase. That would be approximately 53 million shares and total around $4 billion in cash. That's at about $75 per share. 3.8 billion of that would be fair market value, as the investments, the stock of NVIDIA is listed currently at $71.54 per share. The rest of it, the other $185 million, would be premium. This equates to about 7% per share. The final 10% that we're looking to get out of NVIDIA would be done using a stock swap. So we would take in 53 million of their shares in exchange for approximately 66 million of our shares. It still has that equivalent value of approximately $4 billion, and that would give them a little bit less than 1% of our total shares. It'd be 0.8% of our shares. The reason why we're looking to do a premium is because we want to show NVIDIA that we're heavily invested in their company. We already use some of their technology, and we think that there's going to be great synergies in the future, and so paying this premium would make it more reasonable for them to accept our offer to become the new majority shareholder within their company. And we believe 7% is going to be a fair premium to pay. One of the other reasons why we think that our proposition is going to go through, as you know, back in March of 2000, we were releasing the Xbox gaming system. We had entered into an agreement with NVIDIA to develop and sell graphics chips to us and then license certain technology to Microsoft as well. Under that agreement, if an individual or a corporation decided that they were going to make an offer to NVIDIA to purchase 30% or more of NVIDIA shares, Microsoft, we would have the first and last rights to refuse the purchase of the stock. We would also have the rights to then purchase that 30% if we so desired. So under that agreement, we believe that we're more likely to be told yes for a future purchase, for any sort of large purchase of stock within the NVIDIA Corporation. It's already in the books that we have the right to do this. NVIDIA knows about it. We know about it. There's no reason why we think that this would fall through. And as I previously mentioned, there's a lot of synergies between the two companies, and we think that those synergies, how we can help each other, they can help us with their technologies, we can help them with our resources. It would end up working out well. And so synergies is going to be the next thing that we're going to talk about.
With the planned step acquisition that will result in our having control of NVIDIA, there are several proposed synergies between the consolidation of our companies. With the processing force of the NVIDIA GPUs input into our next generation of Xbox gaming consoles, this will lead to consoles with more robust graphics and performance capabilities than our competitors, therefore allowing us to increase our market share in the gaming industry. We will also begin to make even more of an imprint in the computer hardware market, as we would have in our arsenal the entire portfolio of NVIDIA hardware. The aforementioned graphics processor is just one of many products that would bring Microsoft to the forefront of the computer hardware industry. The core values of the NVIDIA community are also aligned with ours here at Microsoft. With their adherence to delivering value, employee engagement, and increasing returns on shareholder investment, there is a solid alignment between the perspectives of our two companies. We have deemed the consolidation of Microsoft and NVIDIA operationally feasible. Well in advance, we will put in place procedures that will make for a smooth and efficient hardware-software integration. Out of our 3 reporting segments, our holdings in NVIDIA will be placed in our more personal computing segment. We will also maintain NVIDIA as a separate corporate entity with separate accounting, and we will in no way dissolve the company. We will instead benefit from the perceived quality and customer loyalty that is already a part of the NVIDIA brand name.
So now we're going to talk about some of the accounting issues associated with this 20% acquisition of NVIDIA. And the general ownership test for the equity method of accounting states that you must own 20 to 50% of the corporation. And since we're at the very bottom of this range, we decided to look at the codification as well as 2 qualitative factors as well. So the FASB Accounting Standards Codification 323 states that the requirements to use the equity method are the ability to exercise significant influence over operating and financial policies of an investee. And to determine if we had this significant influence, we decided to look at 2 qualitative factors. The first qualitative factor we looked at is, are we the majority shareholder? And as we stated previously, currently Fidelity Investments is the majority shareholder and owns 14.95% of NVIDIA. So by obtaining 20%, we would now be the majority shareholder. Next, we looked at, will there be significant material intra-entity transactions? And we decided that there will be material intra-entity transactions between us and NVIDIA. So through this valuation, it led us to conclude that we will be able to use the equity method of accounting because we do have significant influence over NVIDIA. So As stated previously, due to only acquiring 20% of NVIDIA, separate incorporation will be maintained. Therefore, this isn't an issue for us right now. However, this is going to be step one of a step acquisition. And over the next 5 years, we plan on obtaining over 50% of NVIDIA and gaining control over the corporation. We believe that this will increase our overall synergies obtained, but by doing a step acquisition versus trying to obtain control now, we are avoiding overextending our resources. As you all know, we just acquired LinkedIn about 5 months ago for a very large amount of money. And so we believe that this plan is the most appropriate for Microsoft right now. So next, we're going to look at intra-entity transactions, and we do expect an abundance of these. By acquiring this portion of NVIDIA, we are looking to build a long-term relationship. And we believe that both us and NVIDIA will benefit from the resources and the technology of the other, especially as our ownership increases. As of right now, with only owning 20%, we will not have to have a valuation of acquired assets because we are not consolidating our financial statements. However, we will have to measure our investment at its cost to us right now. In the future, when we do obtain control over NVIDIA, we will have to consolidate our financial statements and then value the assets that we acquired. And in accordance with accounting standards codification, we will use the fair value valuation method. And additionally, the largest assets of NVIDIA are technology and intangibles, which just brings even more importance to using the fair value method of measuring those assets. So finally, to conclude, we believe that obtaining 20% of NVIDIA is in the best interest of Microsoft and will allow us to maintain our competitive advantage. NVIDIA has a proven track record in both profitability and growth, and on top of that, we have a strong degree of strategic alignment and would benefit from multiple synergies through this investment. Not only is NVIDIA at the forefront of cutting-edge technology, we also have very similar long-term goals and cultural similarities. So the acquisition process would start with purchasing 10% of shares for cash at a premium, and then also purchasing an additional 10% through a stock swap. This would put our total investment at 20%, or 107 million shares of NVIDIA, and this would be valued at $8.025 billion total. And this is just step one of us in a long-term plan to acquire control and obtain the highest degree of benefits from this relationship with NVIDIA. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and now I'd like to open the floor to any questions that you may have.